multiplication of decimal numbers. And just for a simple recall, let us try to identify what do we call the numbers that we multiply. So, when your numbers are written horizontally, the first number is called multiplier, while the second number is called the multiplicand. The answer after multiplying the numbers or in multiplication operation is called the product. While if they are placed in vertical form, there we have the multiplier at the top and multiplicand at the bottom. The answer is the product. So now let's start with the steps in multiplying decimal numbers. The first step is for us to simply multiply them like whole numbers. So under this step, we assume that the given decimal numbers are whole numbers. We are going to disregard for a moment the decimal point, multiply them like whole numbers. Step number 2 is for us to count the number of decimal places from the multiplier and the multiplicand. And last step is for us to place the total decimal places from step number 2, which came from our multiplier and the multiplicand, to our product. Let's have some example. Let us multiply 7 and 2/10 times 4. So as stated in the first step, to multiply them like whole numbers, we assume that 7.2 will be 72. Then multiply it with 4. We multiply our multiplicand to the digits on our multiplier. So we start with 4 times 2, which will give us 8. Then 4 times 7 give us 28. So therefore, 72 times 4 is 288. Step number 2 is to count the number of decimal places from the multiplier and the multiplicand. So we have 7.2. We have only one decimal place there since we only have one digit after the decimal point. And for our multiplicand, which is 4, we don't have any decimal places. Step number 3 is to place the total decimal places from the multiplier and multiplicand and apply it to our product. It means that we need to add the decimal places from multiplier and multiplicand. So 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. We need to put one decimal place in our product, which will result to 28.8 or 28 and 8/10. Therefore, 7.2 times 4 is 28.8. Now, let's have another example. 6.3 times 2.9 or 6 and 3/10 times 2 and 9/10. Step number 1, multiply them like whole numbers. So, going to multiply 63 times 29. We start from right, going to the left. And for our multiplicand, we have to multiply 9 first to 63, then followed by 2 times 63. So let's start with 9 times 3 will give us 27. We put the 7 below and carry over the 2 to the next digit we're going to multiply with. 9 times 6 now is 54 plus 2, that is 56. We're done multiplying 9 to 63. We will now move to the 2 on the tens place of our multiplicand. So let us multiply 2 times 3. Remember that in multiplying multiplicand from the tens place, we must affix 0 before we put the product of 2 and 3, which is 6. Next, we're done multiplying 2 and 3, so we move to 2 and 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Since we have two products here from the product of 63 and 9 and 63 and 2, we need to add them now. So we start from right to left. So 7 plus 0 is 7. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry 1. Now it will be 1 plus 5 plus 2, which is 8. And bring down 1. Final product is 1,827. Let's move to step number 2, which is to count the number of decimal places from the multiplier and the multiplicand. So we have 6.3 and 2.9 once again. So for our multiplier, 6.3, we have one decimal place there. And from our multiplicand, we have also one decimal place there. Again, we count the number of digits after the decimal point. That's how we determine the number of decimal places for each factor. Step number 3, we place the total decimal places from step 2 in our product or to our answer. So we have to add 1 and 1, which will give us 2. You see the arrow, therefore we must put 2 decimal places to our product, 1,827. So let's put them 1, 2. Remember that we start from right, add the number of places to its left depending on the total of the decimal places from the multiplier and the multiplicand. So in that case, our final answer would be 18.27 or 18 and 27 hundredths. Now let's move to our final example. We have 23.01 times 5.8 or 23 and 1 hundredths times 5 and 8 tenths. So let's start multiplying them like whole numbers. So as you can see, it becomes 2,301 times 58. Again, we start from right, going to the left, meaning we multiply 8 first to 2,301, then multiply 5 to 2,301 after. So let's start. We have 8 times 1 is 8. Next, 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 3 is 24. We put 4 below and carry over the 2 on to our next digit. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 2, which is 18. We're done multiplying 8, so now we move to the 5, which is on the tens place. So we have to affix 0 now. After affixing the 0, we can now multiply 5 and 1, which is 5. 5 times 0, which is 0. 5 times 3, which is 15. So we put 5 below, carry 1 over the next digit. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1, and that's 11. After multiplying all the digits, both digit from the multiplicand, now let us add them all together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 0 plus 5 is 5. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry 1. So that makes it 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is 3. And bring down the last 1. Therefore, the product is 2,301 and 58 is 133,458. Step number 2 is to count the number of decimal places from the multiplier and the multiplicand. The number of decimal places from our multiplier is 2, since we have 0, 0, and 1. There are 2 digits after the decimal point. Then for our multiplicand, we have 5.8. There is 1 decimal place. Step number 3, we place the total decimal places from step 2 to our product. So that makes it 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3. So 3 means we must put 3 decimal places to our product. So we start counting from the right, going to the left. So 1, 2, 3. So therefore, the decimal point must be placed between the 3 and 4. So final answer would be 133.458 thousandths. Again, that would be all. Thank you for watching.